IB Microeconomics only for high level. For this lecture, we'll cover the section for profit, which is the third section that you need to understand. And this is not really hard, so let's just move on. So we will do some review about economic cost. We have covered this for the first section, production and cost. And in there, we should learn the difference between explicit and implicit cost. So, as I mentioned before, explicit cost is the cost that we usually think in our minds. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, it is a money outlay before, right? Another name, it's not actually the name, but I can call it that. I prefer to call this in this way: monetary cost or explicit cost. So you can think this is about the monetary cost, like the raw materials that you need to buy to produce something, or like the car to transport, things like that. And implicit cost is not really related to the monetary values. I mean, it is calculated as a monetary value, but it is not actual monetary cost that we usually think, but it is foregone income. This is the key terms that you should understand and you should memorize to understand what implicit cost means. So implicit cost is usually about something that you need to, you need to give up, like opportunity cost. So as I mentioned before, so I want to make a tech company, tech firm, but the problem is I need to buy a land, right? I need to make buildings as well. I need to construct this, but it would take about $20,000, for example. The problem is that, so I would say the building cost $20,000 to build up. But if I do not use this for my company, but I just rent this building for others for the rent, then I can receive some cost, right? So rent will be approximately $10,000 per year, just an example. Then this $10,000 will be foregone income or implicit cost in this example. Okay. Also, the building itself, the $200,000 itself, is monetary cost to start my business. So that's the difference. And now we'll move on to the next slide. So first, we have positive or negative economic cost. Profits, not cost, because this is about the profit. So, economic profit, or EP, I say usually EP. EP is calculated by TR, total revenue, minus total cost. But total cost includes, as I mentioned before, in the section 1, lecture 2, implicit cost plus explicit cost is TC, or total cost. So again, economic profit is TR minus TC. Okay. Then, if TR is greater than TC, the revenue is bigger than cost, right? Then the firm has what? A positive economic profit, which is abnormal profit. Okay? Abnormal profit, so it's not actually a normal situation. Really. Yeah. But if TR is less than TC, or TC is greater than TR, then a firm has an economic loss or negative economic profit. So I will say negative EP, and for this part, I will say plus EP. So we'll move on to the next. Now we will study what normal profit means. I mentioned the term abnormal profit before. But since there is abnormal profit, we have normal profit as well. Abnormal profit is like when you make a positive economic profit to when you earn something. But normal profit, still you earn something, actually. I mean, if you only think about the explicit cost, but because of the existence of implicit cost, we do not make any economic profit, meaning zero economic profit. And in that case, we say that is the situation of the normal profit, which is zero economic profit, which is the case of TR is equal to TC. Next slide. So we will study now break-even point, which is quite tricky. I think I mentioned in the lecture 3 that you should understand from the curve about the MC, ATC, and AVC, you should understand what these points means, right? I mentioned this before. And now this is time to learn what they mean. So, break-even point is where you start to make a profit or economic profit, right? What does it mean? So, break-even price or break-even point is where you can earn economic profit, where you can start to make profit. Then, this means that total revenue should at least equal to TC, or total revenue is greater than TC to earn economic profit, right? And that's the reason why we say this point where ATC is equal to MC is break-even price. So here is the break-even price or break-even point. Okay. So actually at break-even point, the economic profit will be zero, but I mentioned this is the point where you can start to earn economic profit. So you will start to earn. This means that this point is actually economic profit has always zero. But now I mentioned average or cost, marginal cost, right, to explain break-even point. But here, the term used is TR and TC. I will mathematically derive how it is possible to explain this break-even point with the term ATC and P. So total revenue, the function of the total revenue is price times quantity, right? And total cost is average total cost times quantity. So if we divide both of them, so I mentioned TR is equal to TC. This means that price times Q is equal to average total cost times quantity. So we can cancel out Q, the common factor Q, then we can only have price equal to ATC. Okay, and that's the reason why I say when ATC is equals to P, we have a break-even price. When TR equals to TC, we say it's break-even point usually, but you don't really need to differentiate what it means, because usually exam doesn't ask you to differentiate what's the difference between break-even price or break-even point, but you just need to understand where it happens, where it occurs exactly, which is when ATC is equal to the price. So the y-axis will be labeled as price, and the x-axis will be quantity produced. And now, we'll move on to the next. We'll study the zipper bag cocktail examples. But before we cover, I want to give an example, to explain when we stop our production. This is actually the one that you will not cover yet, because you will learn this the market structure chapter, but I want to explain another term that we use. It's not actually a term, but another phase that you should understand when we stop our business and exit our industry. So, I mentioned when ATC is equal to the price, this is break-even price, right? However, when ATC is greater than price, so case 1, ATC is greater than price. Not ATC. When price is greater than ATC, this means that total revenue is greater than total cost. Okay? Because total revenue is greater than total cost, or the price that you can receive is greater than the average dollar cost, what it means is that you are now making economic profit. In this case, we have a positive economic profit. Okay? Case 2. When TR equals TC, where price is equal to ATC, which is TR is equals to TC. In this case, we already have a zero economic profit. And this is also a break-even price. Okay? And we already have another case, case 3. Price is less than ATC, or total revenue is less than total cost. Now we make a loss, economic loss, right? So now we make a loss, but the problem is you need to figure out the point where we stop the business or we continue to make up our product. So that's actually different, and what we understand is we have ATC, not only ATC but also ABC. So if price is less than ATC, but greater than ABC. If price is less than ATC but greater than ABC, we will continue to run our business. In this case, we make a negative economic profit. However, we continue our business. Okay, and case 4. When price is less than average variable cost. This case is quite important because in this case, we still we still have negative economic profit, but in this point, in this case, in this phase, we will stop our business, and we will exit our industry in the long run. This is actually very important. So for case 3 and case 4, so case 3 is this portion, this is case 3, and for this part we have case 4. So for case 3, we will continue to produce in the short run, and the reason is that in the short run we can't stop our business, right? We can't exit ourselves. So that's another thing that we didn't cover before. In the short run, we can't exit. It's impossible. Exit means you sell everything that you have in your own company, even your land, right? But land is fixed in the short run. Therefore, you cannot exit the industry when you are in the short run. Therefore, the only choice that you can choose in the short run is to continue to produce or stop producing. That's the only thing that you can do. So to minimize the loss, the firm's goal is to maximize the profit, right? So in order to maximize the profit, when the firm makes a loss, they need to minimize the loss. Because for case 3, the firm can receive the price that covers the average fixed cost and more. Understand? So when the price is within this range between ABC and ATC, the price that firms can receive at least it covers the average variable cost, even including average fixed cost. Therefore, they will not stop producing because they can earn more profit when they operate their business, not stopping their production. However, if the price is within this range, is below than average variable cost, then they don't have to really produce their products because they make a loss, right? And they will make even worse than when they produce. Okay, this is quite hard to understand, but usually exams will not ask you very detailed explanations, but just in case. So in the short run, we right? So we can't exit our industry. We can only decide whether we continue to produce or stop producing. So, what I need to mention is the concept of the average fixed cost. So average fixed cost is not the one that you can change, because this is the fixed cost and you need to pay even when you stop the business. Therefore, when AFC is greater than the price but still less than ABC, you don't really have to produce, because what you can earn is not likely the one that you can minimize the loss. And this is good to, get more price than average fixed cost, right? But the problem is that what you really earn only covers AFC. So this price does not cover average variable cost, but you need to pay average variable cost as well when you produce. So this means that what you need to pay is ATC, right? AFC plus ATC. So the price that you can receive will cover average fixed cost, but it cannot really cover average variable cost. Therefore, if you continue to produce, in this case, it is worse off. However, the price is greater than ABC. This case, price will cover not only average fixed cost, but also average variable cost. Of course, this is less than the ATC, right? So you cannot make economic profit, positive economic profit, but still you can minimize the loss instead of not producing anything. When you stop your business, then you still need to pay AFC, but this price covers AFC as well as ABC. Therefore, you need to continue to produce. If it is difficult to understand, I just recommend to memorize all of these cases, because manual paper 3 will ask you where is the point and illustrate by graphs. That's the reason why you need to understand. That's the best case, but if you can't, memorize. So now, we will see the example, which is a zipper bag cocktail. It includes some of alcohol, so perhaps you cannot drink whatever, but I will just give it as an example. So let's move on. So this is the cost that I need when I produce zipper bag cocktails. So first thing is the monetary cost, explicit cost, and we have implicit cost. So explicit cost is the cost that we usually know and we usually consider as a cost, which is raw materials and labor. So I need some people to make cocktails, and even I need some raw materials or ingredients or some alcohols to make zipper bag cocktails, right? So it would cost $200, okay? But we have implicit cost, and this is actually quite tricky part. I bought truck to transport my cocktails. It's not actually transport. So it's like a food truck. So on the road, you can just stop your truck and start to sell your zipper bag cocktails, right? But for doing this, you need to buy a truck, like a food truck, cocktail truck, kind of. But also, you have another thing, which is entrepreneurship. Your management skill will have a cost. This means that when you use your entrepreneurship to run different business, like tech companies, or do some other businesses, then you can earn the income of $300. Just we assume that, okay? And for truck will cost $100. This means that if you use the truck for another way, like if we provide delivery service, we can receive the price for delivering that by using our truck, right? Or even if it's food truck, still we can earn some income, right? So we lose that income when we use this truck to sell our cocktails. Therefore, our total cost is explicit cost plus implicit cost, which is 100 plus 100, 200 plus 100 plus 300, 400, which is in total 600 US dollars. So let's move on. Now we will analyze the profit. The first case is when total revenue you earned by selling your Silverback cocktails is 700 US dollars. So now I will introduce the new terminology, accounting profit. Is there an economic profit? Yes, we learned, right? And there is an accounting profit. Accounting profit is what we usually think as a profit. This means this is related to the monetary profit. It does not include implicit cost. Only think about explicit cost. So if we calculate in that way, the total revenue was 700 and explicit cost was 100 plus 100. This was for raw materials and this is for labor. So total we have 200 for explicit cost and our accounting profit is 500 US dollars. So now what we want to know is whether we have a positive economic profit or negative economic profit, because we are economists, we are not accountants, right? So total revenue minus total cost is economic profit, but total cost includes not only explicit cost, but also implicit cost. So implicit cost is 100 plus 300. Okay, and for explicit cost, we have 100 plus 100. So total, which is 200, for implicit cost, we have 400. So total revenue was 700, and total cost is 600. So our economic profit is 100. Understand? Okay. I'll explain these things usually, right? So this is total revenue, and we want to know how this total revenue is composed of which way, mathematically, numerically. So 200 is explicit cost, and 400 is implicit cost, right? And additional 100, this is the profit, an actual profit that we can earn. Economic profit. So that is how it composed of. So since we have a positive economic profit, we say this is the case of abnormal profit. Therefore, we will be happy to continue our business. Now we will move on to check the case 2. Case 2 is quite different. Because our total revenue is decreased significantly, we only earn 400 US dollar. So accounting profit will be calculated in the same way. So total revenue is 400 and explicit cost was 200, right? So our accounting profit is 200. How about economic profit? We will have our total revenue is less than the total cost, because total cost again includes not only explicit cost but also implicit cost. Because our implicit cost is 400 and our explicit cost is 200, which is in total 600, the total revenue is only 400, but the total cost is 600. Our economic profit will be negative 200. So in this case, we need to leave the bracket because we have a negative economic profit, right? So we do not really have to continue to produce. And you will wonder why we need to really leave this industry, because we still earn accounting profit. In your bank account, you really earn some income. But you will wonder why, and even in this case, you earn something, why you need to leave the market. And this is quite important thing. Because you have implicit cost. Again, implicit cost, I mentioned a foregone income, right? So this is the income that you probably earned if you use that materials like truck or entrepreneurship to do other things. And that was 400, which is greater than 200. So if you started another tech business, tech firm, then probably you can use your own entrepreneurship to earn 300. And also you can use your truck to provide delivery service. You can earn 100, so you can earn 400 for foregone income, and which is higher than 200, greater than 200, which is the accounting profit that you currently earn. But if you start the business and you do other things, then you can earn more than that. That's the reason why we need to leave the market. Now we will see page 3. Case 3 is just no more profit case. Total revenue is equal to 600. Okay, I'll just skip it because it's accounting profit is 400, whatever is true, right? But we have zero economic profit because total revenue is the same as total cost, which is 600. So we have a zero economic profit. Is it bad? It's not. We're saying this is no more profit case. This is not a bad situation because you still earn accounting profit, which is 400, right? And you just do something that you want, even if you consider your foregone income, and you can earn the income that covers the foregone income and even the explicit cost. So actually, this is a good thing. So manager will stay in business, and they don't have to really stop the business, whatever. And now we'll see some other things as well. So already I mentioned this, right? So I'll skip this. So, okay, for you guys, I recommend you to write down the things that I wrote in the previous slide. You can just stop the video a little bit because I was standing here, so you can do that easily on your hands, whatever. And now we'll see the conclusion of what it really implies for our profit analysis. For the example of Zipper-Bag cocktails. So, if we just read this, what we need to think about is the normal profit or economic loss. Even if you make a normal profit, you will not get out of your business get out of the market because you still earn accounting profit and it covers even implicit cost but also explicit cost, right? Therefore, we don't really need to exit our industry and remain in the business. And here is the things that I covered before, okay? So